Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first official SpyParty Masters Championship 2023 cast. I am your host, Corvus Mallory, and I'm joined today by my co-caster, Scout.
Hello, hello.
We have got a match today in the week 1 of the Challengers bracket, and we'll throw that up on screen just so we can get a look at it. As a reminder, SMC is divided up into 3 stages. We have 8 players trying to make it from the Challengers bracket single elimination into Champions Round Robin. That'll take place over the next week or so. Then Champions Round Robin will begin. We'll have 8 players looking to advance to the top 4. 2 from each group will move to the Champions bracket, and they will play for a chance to become the SMC 2023 Grand Champion. Looking at this bracket, we have got the upper half is what we're looking at today. And in fact, we're going to see both of these matches today. We've got Yitter versus Guggie coming up right now, live. And then we've got Ada versus Wrestler, which will be casting in just about 3 hours. So after this match, we'll have a chance to go, hydrate, take a little break, and then come back. And we will determine which 2 players will be playing next week for a chance to move into the upper round robin zone.
And I think no one would be particularly surprised to see anyone out of this bracket end up in the Champions Round Robin. It's quite a close bracket.
Yeah, we have some players here with experience. Adafayesh is the only one that's actually been in SMC before. Wrestler, Yitter, and Guggie are all new entrants into the tournament. But I think it's fair to say that they are all contenders at this level, and I wouldn't be surprised to see any of them advance. Now, of course, today we're focusing on Yitter and Guggie at the moment. Let's talk just briefly about them. So Yitter is seed 10 in SMC, qualifying with a 5th place finish in Hidden Cup and a 1st place finish in the Rave Restricted Angle tournament, coming in very strong in that tournament. And Yitter has been a mainstay of the community, I think, for a while, and a little bit of a sleeper. You know, Yitter has had really solid and very, very consistent performance. And it's that kind of consistent performance that has eventually led him here to SMC.
I think someone who's not yet had very prominent competitive success, or at least even when he's placed very well, it's been under the radar.
Yeah, and I think even looking at Hidden Cup, Hidden Cup going out versus Koopa, who's, of course, one of the SMC champions. And so, if we can expect that kind of similar level of performance, that means that Yitter absolutely has a road to making it into champions. And then we can, of course, look at Guggie. Guggie, SMC seed 11, right up against Yitter, it's fair to say. 4th place in Summer Cup. And that included, by the way, a 9-7 nail-biter win over Meteoric.
I think Guggie is someone who can play very, very well, especially with his variety of cheeses and things that makes him very hard to catch. And if you're not totally on top of him, he will just run away with it. Slightly inconsistent in some ways in that, he can be caught out, and it, will depend on the day.
Yeah, and I think also it's going to be interesting to see how Guggie plays against Yitter, but more importantly, how Yitter snipes against Guggie. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. Guggie is absolutely known in the community for those kinds of cheesy, fancy, kind of sleazy plays, I think it's fair to say. I'm just looking at his face, and it reflects so much of what I think about Guggie's spy style, and I think Yitter could come to this prepared for that.
Yes, I think if you're on the lookout for things that are a little bit too slick to be quite AI, it'll be a big help here.
So, Scout, should we turn to the draft? Should we see what these players have in store for us?
Sounds good.
All right, so let's go ahead and pop open the draft. As a reminder, This match is a best of 16, and if necessary, we'll have overtime tie breaks. We have bans onto aquarium and balcony, restricts onto redwoods and pub, doubled ballroom, doubled gallery, singled modern, TN, veranda, and terrace. And looking at this, the number one thing that I see is Yitter does not want to be exposed to those kinds of cheesy, sneaky plays from Guggie. Ban on aquarium and restrict onto redwoods.
Yes, it doesn't seem like Yitter is that much of a fan of occlusion, or at least against Guggie. And Guggie obviously doesn't enjoy small venues where he might in fact be exposed.
Yeah, and looking at this, it'll be interesting, I think, especially to see Guggie on gallery, Guggie on TN. Those seem like venues that I would expect from him and expect him to do well on. Yitter, very, very different, right? Ballroom and veranda both have some kinds of small amounts of occlusion, but I don't really think of them the same way as I would around TN. And then we have, of course, the big, wide-open, modern venue for Yitter single as well.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see in how people use the more mobile aspects of occlusion on veranda and ballroom, the crowd of guests, which is a lot less unpredictable, but just as useful to be used by the spy as the shark is.
All right, well, we're going to move on from our draft and on to the last part of our pre-stream. And of course, you know what that's got to be. It's got to be predictions. So I guess my name is on here first. Don't know what I was thinking when I did that. But go ahead and make a prediction. I'm going to give this match to Guggie. I really respect Yitter as a player. I've played with him many, many times. I think Guggie is just a little bit hungrier for it. And I think that's going to propel him here to the win.
I think I'm also going to go for Guggie. I think I'm going to predict it as being very close, though. Something like a 9-7 wouldn't surprise me. And in part, I'm doing this out of a hope and belief that Smallman Cheese is still alive. Mm-hmm. But I'm very prepared to be proven wrong.
All right, and just taking a look at our community predictions, which, by the way, you can join at spypartysmc.com/predict. The community has given this match over 90% to Guggie. I think it was 1 versus 10 in terms of the predictions. So Yitter facing an extremely uphill battle as we get into our main game. Scout, you ready to go?
I am.
All right, then let's go here. Oh, that is the wrong window. What on earth is happening there? I see what has happened there.
I have to say, with community predictions, an aspect that people often overlook is the community is very likely to predict for whoever there is most active and visible. And I was very gratified to see Slappy's analysis that the community is slightly less good than a coin flip at predicting matches. So I wouldn't say this match is 90% Guggie win. I'd just say Guggie is, I mean, just look at that face. He is slightly more in your face in the community.
All right, let's get this game started. It will be Guggie starting on the spy side as Smallman. What else could you ask for? In 3, 2, 1, playing it. So what's Guggie going to try to do to open up this match?
Well, it's Smallman at window, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a time ad. But no, it's just a straight flirt to start off with at books. It's a weight test, not quite into the greens yet. And it's an immediate transfer behind this rather thick conversation cover there.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. No obvious indication that it's been seen here yet.
I'll be interested to see if at some point we collect a highlight just for being Smallman, who's been not particularly visible and quite active so far this game. We do see the mysterious Damon highlight come off. I don't think anyone in the community has managed to figure out what this signifies, or whether in fact it signifies anything at all, but it is a Yitter special.
Here comes the drink offered to Guggie. There will be no purling attempt yet. Still very early days, 2 minutes 20 left to play on the venue. We've got 2 flirts. We have a green microfilm in hand. And Guggie's going to have to find a way to get the second microfilm done. There is no cover over on the left side of the venue right now. Just no cover at all.
To be honest, I think purlining here wouldn't be terrible, that position in conversation, but no chance of that. We've just casually sidled over into this conversation next to our ST, but also next to the Amber, which looks like has gotten us highlighted by Yitter, who has either realized that we might have bugged, which in fact now we have.
Yeah, that's a nice bug.
That was perfectly timed behind pillar there.
So okay, so we've got the bug done, the flirt done. We have the microfilm in pocket. We have a drink in hand. At this point, you know, the question is, how much does Guggie feel that highlight? How much does Guggie think he's in trouble for that bug? And are we willing to try to finish microfilm instead of doing something like inspects?
I do think microfilm might be the thing that kills us. I think with that highlight, Yitter is aware that we've been active and that he might have been missing things. And might be just a bit more careful about anything else Guggie does at this point.
Well, here's the moment of truth as we go to blue bookcase. Not going to be a lot of cover here for some kind of microfilm. We're being kept on screen. We can't do it here. We're going to have to take this away. And we will.
We will, but I'm not sure if there's anywhere else really on this venue where we're not going to be caught. It looks like we might be setting up for some behind... Obviously suspected, but not suspected enough. I think, yeah, Yitter ready for the rush with the center inspects, but got the wrong rush this time.
Yeah, unfortunate for Yitter, unfortunate for Irish. I'm not sure what provoked the shot at bookcase, but it was not the correct shot, and that means Guggie is going to open the set up with a win, a spy win, on Yitter's double.
I think Irish might have been finishing prints at that bookcase, and with center inspects and prints.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's a rough shot not to take.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I completely understand that from Yitter.
All right, well, that will open things up for us as Yitter moves to the spy side of his choice. He'll be playing as Disney and Guggie on Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And a slow start.
Yes, not willing to go straight to Windows to start flirt and start getting flirt paired. Did we break animation to sip or something? And now we're jamming onto this painting pad as a highlight, flirting with Sari. And we've requested, this is not looking...
Here comes the Purline.
I don't know how we got this highlight.
It's a white test. It's a white test. Are we looking? Damon's been low lit, so presumably we know. We don't know who's in this chain exactly, it looks like. We're still high lit, although it's not necessarily for the Purline. And so now Guggie has the potential of narrowing this party down by a lot, starting to take some lowlights, starting to take some highlights as well. I don't think we really know who's in this chain for sure.
I was going to say, I don't know if that gulp might have killed us, if Guggie did see that we took a drink and now suddenly we don't have one, but we're still alive. I don't know how we got that first highlight, but here we are stuck with it and only 33% flirt and 1 hardtail to show for it.
Here comes the selection target over to us. We're unfortunately in the middle of a talk animation, so we won't get a flirt just yet. Now there's the flirt. It's a white test to 54%. The ambassador is over here at statues, right next to us. There's no way we can take a bug here, especially as the highlight we are. I'm not sure how Yitter wins this game except by someone else with Purline suspicion getting shot.
I think possibly if we can let a print cook for long enough and finish with prints, that might work. Starting on inspects isn't terrible, but I don't love our chances of surviving if we as a Purline suspect are finishing inspects.
Our ST will bail on us as well. Of course, it's Sari. It'll be a while before she settles somewhere useful. 1:20 on the clock. We have 1 mission done.
One mission done and one safety off from the sniper. There's now 2 prints, both on statues.
Here comes a
And in the red.
contact.
Oh no, and 2 of our highlights were one taking a drink and the other out of conversation at the time. This is not looking good.
Did we just green return? I don't understand. Alright,
Must have
flirt's
still
up to
hit, right?
86%. Guest list
We
has been
did.
returned. And we'll be shot for this.
I mean, I admire it. That's a gamer move there.
That is a gamer move. I have to agree with that for sure.
I think that's a pretty good play. If we're reasonably sure that we're under suspicion, that extra level of confusion just might do it. And I don't think it made any difference to the outcome there.
I don't think so,
It didn't
no.
harm us any more than we were already in trouble, and it could have well gotten someone else in trouble. So I like that move.
Alright, well that is going to be Guggie going up 2-0 to open us up. But Guggie now back on the spy side, and Yitter with a real chance to try to stabilize this game. We can pick up a win, that'll be really helpful as we head into game number 3 on Ballroom in 3, 2, 1, playing it. I like how we have Smallman as the DA, so there's no question about whether Guggie is playing Smallman on this game.
I think it's useful to do. Otherwise, Yitter might just be able to assume that Smallman is always the SDA. Which, would be a reasonable assumption against Guggie.
Already a green flirt, 51%. And we are standing in conversation here. It looks like we may just be willing to timer flirt this.
I think that'd be reasonable. It would get this mission done, and we'd be free to rush any last missions necessary. Wheels does stay after he took a drink, so we should be fine just to wait out here.
Should have our flirt timer done in about 10 seconds, and then we'll be able to move on from there. And we're really downing this drink pretty aggressively, which makes sense. We don't want it in our hands at all. There's the flirt, and it's 2 greens.
And a walking bug. That was very nicely timed, with Amber bouncing around the circle like that. I think he might have covered up any arm movement, but we're highlight, so I guess it was slightly less sick of a bug than I thought it was.
Yeah, really nice thing there from Yitter, and catching, if we've caught any suspicion on that bug, Guggie's now going to center statues. I mean, this is an aggressive game from Guggie. We are, we have a green purloin pending, and okay, the shot comes off. I don't think we even saw the purloin. Yitter not going to let that by this time.
To be honest, I think seeing the purloin might have hindered our cause there. When we were offered to, Toby was almost invisible there. And seeing that green purloin might have even put us off. I think a bug credit to center statues is a far simpler shot to take.
Yeah, this bug is visible if you're looking for it. You can see the hand kind of reach out behind Irish and behind Boots as well. So I think Yitter probably saw that bug, but a really nice try from Guggie. And just, if he was maybe 6 inches further forward, I think it would be completely invisible.
Yeah, not quite the pillar cover that I imagined he thought he had there.
All right, well, that's going to take us to the last game of Ballroom. Yitter on the spy side playing as Alice. Going to try to make something happen here and bring back to a 2-2. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, we have picked the fastest character to try and make something happen, and that was a failed bug. I don't know if that highlight is for center statues or for the failed bug or both. We will see in time, I imagine.
At least for me, very difficult to see that bug for sure. So time will tell. But we do get down 2 inspects at center statues. Ambassador, of course, was blocking the other one. And we're just going to shift back over to the statue, pick it up, and finish our inspects. Yitter is not interested in trying to come back here later.
I would have been interested to see if we took that briefcase, but now that I see it from spy side, Ambassador isn't far enough away to take it. Now he is, and we could just take the briefcase and try and find another print later on, which would be quite fast progress.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we will do. Yitter gets the print.
And if we want, there's our last print sitting right there on the statue waiting
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, Guggie saw. I think our idle in conversation there was not correct, and it's going to be a shot. That's rough for Yitter. That is really tough. You're trying to return the briefcase here.
Was it? No, Irish started talking to us. I think that's what happened.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. We had the bug where the AI will talk to us as...
Oh no. That is brutal. That's absolutely brutal for Yitter. And that's going to be Guggie going up 3-1 on Yitter's double of Ballroom.
And I think the thing here will be for Yitter not to tilt after that, because losing a game due to an anti-tell like that is really rough, especially in a high-stakes match like this. And keeping his cool and trying to bring it back after this will be the test.
All right, well, here we go. Guggie on the spy side playing as General on Gallery in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And I respect, Guggie has been playing, I don't want to say a more respectful game, because I don't think there's anything disrespectful about cheese and so on, but a much more conservative game, I think, than some people. Never mind. You know what? Never mind. 51% on the green flirt. Double agents in conversation with us as well. Opportunity to take a very early contact on Gallery.
I think it's an opportunity, but personally I wouldn't want to take it. We've got 2 people already starting statues that would be out for it. And as usual, the earlier you contact, the earlier you give the sniper some people that they don't have to try and track anymore. Guggie agreeing and just busy chasing this flirt to bookshelves, which we just get in time before Queen puts her book back and makes a break for it.
Yeah, Guggie has been aggressively flirting at the beginnings of these games. We saw it on Ballroom, now we're seeing it on Gallery. And of course, on Gallery it makes a ton of sense. Are we going to try to do something with this book? I feel like we're very exposed at the moment.
And I think if anything, we would have been more noticed at this case for being, next to Queen as General. And so trying to return it into the wrong bookcase might be even more noticed. An action microfilm as we return it might be easier.
Well, here's our opportunity. We will not get the flirt. Queen's not going to let that happen twice at the same place. The animation is also not going to happen, so the book just goes back in. 2 minutes 22 on the clock with 0 missions complete.
And I think here, Guggie's been obviously very focused on getting flirt done, but we've burnt almost 2 whole minutes just taking the book out, getting our flirts. And so now it looks like we might, yes, we're lining up for a time ad, which is green in this case.
Time ad taken. Yitter spending a lot of time zooming in and out, which you love to see, especially on Gallery. We'll join this statue pad, and we're actually going to be able to pick this statue up if we so choose. We will also get the flirt across statues, so that's very fancy footwork from Guggie. We will get a highlight, but we'll get 2 inspects and flirt done.
And I think this highlight is notable because I don't think anyone else has been highlight for their first trip to statues, apart from Queen now. And it does look suspiciously like a flirt pair.
That would be brutal. If Guggie gets flirt paired in SMC because of playing Queen X General, then that could be really painful for him.
And the briefcase, which I think we were obligated to take, is dead, but does the sniper know that? That's sometimes rough when you're obligated to take a case like that. Prince suddenly becomes a lot less achievable when you might have already been credited with one.
This is a pretty good contact, and I'm pretty happy with it. We'll let off some lowlights because it's Gallery, but you have 2 pretty full conversations. The SDA might even have been in for it. If not, Yitter probably thinks that they were. And we have a green purloin pending. Suddenly, all we need is 1 more statue inspect, but it might be 1 statue inspect that we absolutely cannot take.
I'd also just like to note at this point
this
that there are... Well, just before then, there were precisely 2 highlights in the game, and they were Guggie and Smallman. There goes the list, and there goes the shot.
Yeah, nice game there from Yitter. I really appreciate it. Just a really solid hold down of what was going on. Even with what you were mentioning the difficulty of the low lights in the contact, but okay, Yitter holding down the sniper side here and starting to recover this match all the way back to 2-3.
And I do wonder if this will make Guggie think twice before any more memeing in this match, but knowing Guggie, it probably won't.
I think it's tough to say, right? Because you want to play the game that you want to play, which I think makes sense, and you don't want to let your opponent think that they have you figured out. So it's tough to know.
Yitter ready to wheel it about?
Let's get into it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Playing as the budget Smallman here. Smallman is the ambassador. I don't know if this was random or in fact a choice. I love the Smallman ambassador choice though.
It's certainly a choice if it's a choice. And already we've been highlight.
I'm not quite sure what this highlight is for. It might be for, flirting and leaving, though we didn't in fact flirt, but it does seem like flirt pairs might be what these early highlights are.
Yitter outside now, hits a green flirt and a quick stop talk as well. It doesn't matter. Guggie is zoomed in inside, so we can just do whatever we want out here. Timeout also even possible. But for now, it looks like we're going to just try to wait out our idol. Our ST is gone, and we're going to head back inside.
I would have hated to see a timeout while we were out there if Yitter had noticed that Guggie was mostly being zoomed in. Since we're a highlight already, getting some inspect progress isn't terrible, I think. We're not going to catch any more suspicion.
Indeed,
I would have loved if Smallman spent more time in the back of that back conversation. It would have been starting to get quite rough for Guggie.
Now here's our chance to flirt. Guggie's been having quite a few of them. Let's see if Yitter can land one as well. No, never mind. It will not be our chance to flirt as our ST bails.
Not what you want as Spy on Gallery. We could go and try to cheese on the same statue pad as AST, but on the other hand, we are wheels, and that hitbox can be quite difficult to judge.
I would not be interested in trying that at all. The good news is that if you miss it, you can just kind of go away, but our ST might be coming back out to us.
Hey, here we go.
It won't be a 2 flirt, it will be 2 greens, but I think we'll take that. The problem is the time. Coming down to 100 seconds now from Yitter. Guggie, by the way, still zoomed in. We could absolutely add time here and not get into any trouble, but it looks like we are going to come back in. I just don't know what our plan is.
It's a little bit tricky. We can finish inspects, and I think there is a fingerprint on one of the statues as well. The 93% is a little bit inconvenient, and this is the worst place to purloin, so we won't be taking that.
Now we will take this flirt, and that'll be our 3rd flirt. That'll finish things off. Minute 13 on the clock. Double agent nowhere in sight, just walking past us as the SDA is in conversation. I mean, I think we have to take this purloin. We just have to hope that we get a little bit of a chain here.
Even a fake, I think, might be worth it at this point. Yitter can't know it, but I mean, you can gauge that there's been a lot of statue visitors. There's a decent amount of highlights walking around, and any kind of contact that, isn't right now when it's quite terrible might induce a civ shot, but we're just going to take an innocent drink, and now we've got our hands full. It's going to be much harder to finish inspects, and I'm not quite sure what the plan is here.
This is not something I would have expected to see here. We do get the fake contact. We'll let off maybe 5, 6 lowlights, maybe a lot more than that. We're still highlights. It's real from the sniper's perspective, so with 20 seconds on the clock, I think we're headed for a timeout.
I don't think there's any physical way for us to complete at this point, and we're just hoping for a timeout.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like Guggie is going to give us that civ shot.
No, and it's so difficult to try to hold your shot here on a match like this, but it will be Spy runs out of time, and that will be a win for Guggie, maintaining the lead.
Yeah, I think we just got into a bit of trouble there with the contact at the end. If that had been slightly better, that could have helped our chances a lot.
All right, we'll move into our second pair of Gather games. Remember, this is Guggie's doubled venue. I will say, it sort of feels like the narrative has been that Guggie's really had the momentum in this match. It's only 4-2. Like, it's only a single game pair away from being even again.
Yeah, and I think it can be quite easy to overlook that a lead isn't really a lead until you've got one game pair over someone, but even just one game pair isn't that much in the scheme of a longer set like this.
All right, well, Guggie on the spy side playing as Red Dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
It seems like we might just be waiting to see where our ST settles here. Painting pad to painting pad to whatever pad our ST lands at.
Yeah, Guggie, again, has really been pushing those early flirts, and it has been working for him. So here's another one, 51%, and a quick leave afterwards.
Red Dress admiring the red painting.
I will say something that we've seen so far. We've only seen one sniper win so far in this match. So neither of these players are letting anything through very easily. Excuse me, one spy win.
Yitter with the stealth Smallman highlight.
May as well.
There's something, when you become known for something, much like Lush Moss and Wheels, you can be known for something and it can start to almost work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to flirt with our seduction target out to windows, but sadly they're busy getting a briefcase instead, so it's back inside for hopefully some sort of other mission progress.
Are we really trying this?
It didn't take, but was it seen?
It's surprisingly difficult to see.
I'm sorry, that standing puck?
Sure. Why not?
I didn't even know that you could get that one.
Guggie has been pushing the bugs very aggressively in this set, and it has been paying off so far. Let's see if it can continue. 2 minutes 15 on the clock. We have a chance to timer flirt here, and it feels like we're in pretty decent shape with that bug.
I think if that bug isn't credited, at least, we're in very good shape, unless we do get caught doing some kind of hardtail. I imagine Guggie's plan at this point is to contact and do some kind of softtail finish. But the clock is starting to wind down, and if we timer flirt this, we're only going to have a minute to do 2 more missions.
I also wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see a hard transfer happen. As you get into this middle game part, if we take out a book, we don't really need our hands for anything else if we're willing to contact. And that feels like it was something that would be very much Guggie style.
The DA is in that front conversation, though, which can be a little bit tricky as we get further, and leaves it as we get further down in time. And if the double agent decides to gallery us, it might make this game a lot more tricky.
A minute 12 is no time at all as the double agent heads inside. Heading inside is not going to be that helpful for us with the SDA in conversation. Double agent goes to statues. We have 58 seconds. Guggie heading just to a painting pad. We gotta move.
Are we gonna try and green purloin this? We are. It's a white. That is very much on screen. Can Yitter be confident of this fade?
There's the highlight. I mean, 30 seconds left. I think if we do any additional missions, we're going to be dead. Yitter very reasonably does not have a mission count on us at this point. There's been no contact. Even without the bug, there's no reason to shoot us. But I think if we do anything in the next 20 seconds, it's going to be very difficult to survive.
And we're very obviously being like a spy, trying to get this drink finished, so it does look like we're going to aim for the last second transfer, but I don't think we're going to get anything but style points for this one.
A quick rip out of bookcase, and we are extremely dead. Yitter takes the shot.
Yeah, I think that was a valiant attempt to save it there, and with a green purloin, that might have been a bit easier, but with the white, we were very much a dead red dress walking.
Yeah, but let's look at this bug. I mean, we try it twice. First here, we try this walking bug, doesn't take. But we said, well, if a walking bug doesn't take, then, I mean, what about a standing bug? And the lean is so visible on screen, but I just wouldn't have been looking for it if it were me.
Yeah, I think that's something that you can just overlook. And given we didn't collect the highlight for it, I think we got away with it.
Yeah, but like so often, the time just got away from us. And now Yitter has a chance to spy to bring the first half of the match to a draw. Yitter playing as queen in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Okay, Yitter, that's fine. That's totally fine. Honestly, I think it's a reasonable play. Like, the mind games are real.
If you can't beat them, join them. And I quite like this move of starting with inspects. Now that we know that Guggie isn't highlighting for them, it's something to do while we wait for our seduction target to settle. And I think it might be easier to manage the time this way than by trying to chase that flirt so hard as Guggie has been.
3 minutes 20, we're just waiting for an opportunity to do something else. And we've really seen all these players get into significant time trouble on Gallery, specifically. I mean, we didn't really see it as much on Ballroom. Gallery, of course, has a reputation for being like that. Our source reduction target bails on this conversation that we were playing to enter, and we can't make it in! It's not on camera. We're fine-ish. We're fine-ish, I think. We're okay.
I like that Yitter fully stopped rather than trying to keep on making his way in. This way you can almost sell it as a full conversation stop. And it was off camera anyway, so no harm, no foul. But we are starting to get into a little bit of time trouble as it's 2:45 without a single flirt.
RST is going to walk right past us. Yeah, that'll happen.
I think now is where we want to start considering a time ad. It's middle game, might be guarded a little less hard, but we already know we need one.
I was like the idea of injecting some chaos. I mean, I think this is a perfectly fine purloin to try to take. Not gonna happen. So Yitter, I mean, we saw it on the earlier Gallery game, and I'm not sure what else we can do here. I mean, we have to interject some kind of action or agency into this game at this point.
Yeah, and without showing some kind of hardtail, there's no chance for a sieve shot. It looks like we're starting the long walk outside to hopefully get our first flirt before General bails to put his book back. And then hopefully maybe we could get a time ad done here.
And a contact as well. I think we should take everything that's available. And we should do it soon. There's the flirt. It's just going to be a white test. We need this contact, I think. It'll knock out 2 statue visitors, but we have a minute and a half on the clock.
If we could contact and then time ad, we've got a way to completion by finishing inspects and maybe swapping, but there goes our seduction target and we're not moving.
Yitter mentioned de-rusting in one of his recent LFGs, and I think that's showing a little bit. I don't want to jump to conclusions from 2 Gallery games, but time management, especially on venues like Gallery, can be a big deal. And we're going to be moving on to Modern, where it's also a big deal. Veranda, where it can be a big deal. And those are things that Yitter's going to have to think about going forward. Here comes the swap. It will be green, so that'll interject some chaos into this game for sure. But it's still only going to be our second mission. We don't have flirt or contact done.
I was about to say that the other thing that's hindering Yitter at the moment is just the differing green rates. Guggie's been 2 flirting most games, and Yitter hasn't been hitting quite so many greens. So here we have one bringing us up to 78. That's going to be a big help, but we still need one more mission.
Well, there's the swap. The fade is visible. The highlight comes onto Kane, and the shot comes onto Kane! And it's a sieve shot onto Kane, and Yitter is going to scam a win here with that chaos swap and bring the match even 4-4 coming out of doubles.
I think that's a very nice result for Yitter, and also having the bravery to just take that, make that spot fade entirely visible to the sniper in front there, I think might have been what gave us the win there.
Yeah, and it can be tilting to get a fade wrong, right? It feels like a mechanical mistake. I feel like it's partly mechanical mistake and partly just something that's really hard to get right 100% of the time. But that could potentially be a concern for Guggie. We're at halftime here, and one thing we saw from SMC 22 was that whoever was ahead in the doubles had a very, very good chance of winning the set. Well, Scout, we're 4-4. We're all tied up.
So I guess we've got very good chances of seeing overtime is the result we're looking at the moment.
All right, well, we're going to pop into a quick little just highlight here before we move on to the back half. And it's actually going to be from one of our games, Guggie opening up the set as Smallman. This was a moment that I really enjoyed. 2 minutes on the clock on Ballroom, you have partial flirt, and you have a microfilm in pocket. This was a spy game that Guggie ended up winning with a sip shot. But look what happens here as we make our way from this conversation right over next to the ambassador. We come on in, and we see this laser right at our head. And so Guggie's saying, okay, I just walked right up next to the ambassador. I've probably been highlit at this point for Bug. That's a shame. But then the ambassador comes back and Guggie says, well, if I'm already highlit for Bug, I may as well have Bug credit. And goes ahead and takes the Bug, and the laser moves off us just as it happens. Laser came here to check for Purloin, didn't see a Purloin, moved off of us for the Bug. And I think that shows a lot of opportunism from Guggie. And I think it's something that we've seen in this set is that opportunism from him. I think it's something that he can lean into even more. It's something that Yitter's going to have to guard against. And it's so hard to do because it's designed to be exactly the moment you're not looking for it. So still plenty of matches to play. Timing has been potentially an issue for both of these players, more so for Yitter on Gallery. So what I would love to see from Yitter is really pushing the pacing on Modern, really pushing the pacing on Veranda. And then from Guggie, continuing to lean into what works, continuing to lean into those bugs. We've seen Guggie bug a lot. You've seen Guggie have some limited success with it. So just keep trying it and see what happens.
And I think it'll be really important for Yitter to be guarding the unexpected more than the expected, perhaps, which might really shut down Guggie.
All right, 4-4, all to play for. First to 9, we'll be moving on to the Challengers Finals, and we've got Guggie on the spy side playing as Sick in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Perhaps winding up for some Sick plays.
I hope so. That would be lovely to see. Going to be starting off joining this bar rush. I think, look, that's great as long as we manage to take advantage of the time investment.
I think the slight handicap here is that Yitter is now lighting for bar, so we won't be able to do anything else particularly unnoticeable while we're lit. And I think we got our drinks significantly earlier than we were meant to. I didn't see a demand, but this way at least we haven't wasted a ton of time at bar.
No, I love to see that. We'll also go and pick up a quick flirt. It's a white test from Guggie this time. But with 3:30 on Modern, that's not necessarily so much of a problem. We could delegate right here in the back of a big bar rush and just dare Yitter to know where it came from.
Yeah, it's hard to know what is the best way to go. I think a lot of the bar rush ended up bailing, and there were only a couple of actual takers. And the risk is if we delegate here, it's going to narrow down the party a lot already. And can we then finish with that extra suspicion?
Down to 3 minutes. We've burned about 35, 40 seconds in the conversation. There's the delegate to an STA. It's not going to happen. The timer will expire before she even gets close to bar. Meanwhile, we get up to 68% on the flirt, but a strange choice of delegate, if I may say so myself. And Yitter has not brought her highlight down just yet.
Well, Guggie won't know that she's SDA. You know, being sorry and near the end of the timer would have been slightly less excited to see her be the one sent.
Safety
in some
off,
ways,
by the way, onto wheels for no particular reason that I saw. But Guggie's finally going to leave this conversation at 2 minutes 20 on the clock. We were in that conversation for over a minute.
And we haven't yet lost our initial bar highlight.
And now we may not lose it as we're at statues. That will be flirt done. Oh, we will actually. We'll come back down to neutral. So we are neutral lit. We have 2 inspects and flirt done, and 2 minutes on the clock of modern. That's a fine place to be.
And it's back to bar. I think a delegate here is... Oh, I see. We're cheesing. I don't think we quite executed it correctly. We don't, in fact, have the delegate in pocket. We might have cancelled it a little bit quick. But if Yitter saw that, we might be in trouble.
No interest in contact. We right past the double agent. We're going to go to bar again. And we will
Perhaps
demand.
having realized that we missed it the first time, we're now back for it. Yes, and this time the cheese, we get it timed right. But now we've been at bar twice. We do have the bar highlight. So whether Yitter just assumes that we took a drink, whether or not we did, and this delegate will go to Smallman.
The delegate, I think, actually going to go to Salmon, who is now at bars. We are finishing off inspects. We could finish a lot of missions here very, very quickly. There's the inspects done. Here comes the purloin and the swap, and immediately Guggie is going to be shot for that. Yitter not going to let that through. And the green swap didn't even have a chance to take. All over the delegate, very impressive.
Yeah, I think the cheese might have been what got us. Whether it was because we had to make 2 trips to bar, or whether Yitter just was more onto us the second time and caught that, slight inaccuracy as Toby was still pulling the drink back as we were already leaving. Obviously gave him that extra level of certainty.
And this is Yitter in the lead for the very first time in this match. Has been behind the whole time, just came equal on game 8, now ahead on game 9. Going to try to solidify that with a spy game on Modern. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. And we'll get a quick
ST comes to us.
Yeah, 20% on a white flirt. Hey, I mean, look, we'll take it. We'll take it any day.
It's free flirt percentage, basically. I wouldn't hate us immediately ditching our ST and going and getting some other mission progress. Waiting for the time of flirt doesn't seem all that worthwhile when we'll only pick up another 20%.
Well, it hasn't happened just yet. We're still talking in this conversation. Still plenty of time as long as we're coming up with a plan. But like we mentioned on Gallery, you want to make sure that we see Yitter taking as much advantage as possible of these spy games.
I'm intrigued that Guggie has now joined the Damon highlight party.
I may as well.
He's doing an important job there.
Another white test flirt, so up to 40% now. And we're going to head into red books. I love it.
If Guggie keeps on holding this angle, that conversation is actually covering us quite well. And we get a fingerprint here too.
Yeah, we could animation here pretty well. It doesn't really look like Guggie is looking for it at this point. I'm not necessarily sure that we really want to animation on Modern anyways with 3 minutes on the clock. And it looks like Yitter doesn't. So we're going to head into bar with our ST. Pick up. If we were done this a little bit more carefully, we might have even gotten a fingerprint, but that ship has sailed. But we do get a flirt, 74%, and we will get a delegate.
We could almost even decline and requeue. And here we go.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
Hopefully the ambassador, after all that, does indeed take a drink.
Yep, and she will. That'll give us the opportunity to finish off fingerprints. And that will be our first mission completion.
It is a little bit more obvious that we are getting the print here when we've been at bar for so long around the ambassador. But at the same time, Guggie might have just kept on assuming that we were in front of the ambassador in the line.
I feel like the kind of sniper that Guggie is going to be well attuned to the fact that we did that. Like, I don't know if Guggie has the print count on us, and I'm not sure how much it's going to matter as we take our contact. Like, the fact that we did that, I think, is going to be on Guggie's mind.
This was a very nice contact. I think 4 lowlights, which On Modern isn't bad, and there are a lot of highlights coming out for real, which might cover up any finish we want to do.
Speaking of finish, our delegate timer is going to finish here pretty soon. It doesn't look like Yitter is going to fire it. Oh, excuse me. It was already done, and we're low lit, and suddenly we're in mission wing countdown. What happened? We took the fingerprint, we took the purloin, and now Yitter's about to get a mission win here.
I mean, that was very clean. Made even more clean by our seduction target coming to us so we could finish flirt as the delegate was taken. And I think Guggie being busy highlighting for reals there might have just covered up that scene that we needed, and suddenly we were one in a mass of highlights rather than one in a few highlights.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we delegate here to Disney in the middle of all that lighting. I missed it. I had no clue that was happening. It appears that Guggie missed it, had no clue that was happening. And then Salmon, as you mentioned, coming to us right here, letting us finish that flirt. That's a really nice finish from Yitter, and it's going to propel him with a venue sweep into a solid 6-4 lead now.
So it's going to be interesting going on to Guggie's pick if, in Guggie's element of tie-in with cover, if he can return the sweep and bring it back to even, or whether Yitter can hold.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was very, very much expecting... a Smallman here.
I imagine that Guggie thinks that Yitter was also expecting a Smallman here.
But I would have expected that Yitter would expect that Guggie would think what Yitter was expecting the Smallman if I were Guggie.
Ah, yes. What fun.
Well, let's check it out in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We don't take that bug. We had an option to, but instead we're going to go chase down our Smallman ST. That's going to be close. We will get it, and he's actually just going to stay in conversation.
I think it's well thought out that Smallman is our ST. Definitely is a suspect in this game. The thing is that it's not just Guggie who will Smallman the ST on tie-in. And if we do end up having to chase, some snipers can be more aware of who is chasing Smallman, just because it is a little bit of a pattern to try and keep him in on tie-in.
Well, it looks like we're going to timer flirt this. Guggie not going to be able to get 2 greens. The green rate from Guggie, I have noticed going down slightly over time over the match. You shouldn't necessarily read too much into that. Green rates can be fairly random, but it is something that he's going to have to at least cope with as we hit a second white, 68% now, with 2.5 minutes on the clock on Taeyeon.
And eyeing up what we could be doing maybe in this cooldown time. I think with this shoji setup, some kind of hard transfer isn't out of the question. It can be quite hard for the sniper to tell exactly which case you're at through that shoji. Or even a print, as Ambassador puts this case down. There's a few options that we could be getting started on here.
It looks like we are just going to timer flirt this. We may as well at this point. We offered a drink as well, a simple reject for that. Ambassador comes back to us.
I think this might be standing bug range.
I think you're probably right.
I think it's golden range where the Ambassador won't be pushed out, so we can wait until we think that the laser is busy with something else to take this bug, which I think is sensible.
There's the bug. And the cover from General makes it very difficult to see. The bug will take. That's a really, really nice bug from Guggie. It's the kind of thing you should be looking for, but as you mentioned, golden bug range, you can't just keep your attention on there forever.
Banana bread.
There's the contact as well, and we're suddenly flying through this game as we take a white purloin. It's visible. What's Yitter going to do? We're hardly visible at all. I don't know that we have a shot here.
I don't think that Yitter ever saw the purloin or the tray. I think his attention was on something else, but whatever it wasn't the tray.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that bug, the way that it worked out, just beautiful. I want to see this again more from Guggie's perspective. We mentioned at halftime Guggie leaning into these bugs. I think this is a good demonstration of it.
I think, sorry on Tayan, you almost have to credit a bug like this. And it's a little bit rough for Yitter just missing that purloin when it was taken. Because I think if you see that list missing, you know you almost have to take a shot when it's in that back conversation, and that's where our ambassador has been all game. But just not in our... Didn't quite compute that was gone, and we needed to take that shot.
All right, well, Guggie fighting back on his pick of Tayan. Both of these players, by the way, lost their double, 3-1. But so far, they're showing a lot of success on their singles. Yitter are going to be opening things up as Bling Twin. Guggie sniping to bring the match even. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And I think this Shoji setup is statistically the worst one for spy win rates. So not what Yitter might have wanted to see.
We're just ripping and hard transferring.
I think that's been off camera as well. I think we're fine.
Like, there was so much attention in the center of the venue. I don't think Guggie has the slightest clue that this transfer has happened. And Yitter is in an extremely strong place here. I just want to rush this game. Like, just go center inspects, get that done, get your contact, before the sniper has a chance to credit you with something that you didn't do.
Banana bread.
There's the contact. We are indeed rushing. This white flirt might slow us down a little, but we can easily, you know, as you said, get some kind of inspects while we're waiting. I think this was possibly highlights for real, but it was taken back down again. I think, as you said, with those statues being so wide open and with the inspect activity at the start, we were just off camera, and now we can either afford to relax if we want to, but if we can finish up this flirt fast and get a more rush finish in, that would definitely pressure Guggie a bit more in later games in the set.
Yeah, I just don't want to give Guggie the chance to think that we bugged. The ambassador is pretty close to us. Like, you know how you're going to finish these missions. We get another flirt up to 61%. We'll need a green to finish out. But, like, in what universe are you not including an inspect in this game?
If we did end up going to the back conversation or somehow getting a walking bug in the back conversation, that would also be an easy way to finish. But I think without it being a safe bug, Yitter's going to want to go for the safest way out possible here now that we have that hard tell by.
Yeah, our ST is at books. We can't possibly go to books at this point. That's just asking for trouble. So we have a minute and a half. That's honestly still plenty of time to get 2 flirts and a statue inspect. But, you know, it's going to start getting more uncomfortable.
To be honest, I think we could have been doing our inspects now while we wait for our ST. Looks like we're going... now we're belatedly... Oh no.
We're fine.
It's fine. Everything is fine. Life's a breeze. It's the highlights only for center statues. We can easily get 2 flirts in 50 seconds.
Nope, it's going to be a shot.
Oh no. That's so brutal.
And, I mean, look, there's some chance that Guggie saw that transfer, but I think this is just... we missed the pad.
That's so rough.
You know, Twin is very fast, and that can make hitting your pad just a little bit more difficult. Oh
no. That's... I hope Yitter took a minute to recover after that, because that's something that could very well tilt you.
All right, well, that brings us 6-6 out of our first round of singles and pushes us into the second round. Again, it is first to 9 will advance, and the loser will be out of the tournament. Or if 8-8, we're going to go into 4 games of overtime. So, getting started on Veranda. This was Yitter's 3rd pick, his 2nd single. Guggie on the spy side playing as Alice. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. And Guggie, do you think we're going to do a quick flirt to start things off? I think we're going to do a quick flirt to start things off.
And while it's a green, we're on opposite sides of the bookshelf, which means it's only worth a white flat's worth of 36%.
Not a lot
I'm
of
intrigued if
laser
we're going to do
attention.
anything. Yeah, there's not much laser attention. This side of the venue is very empty though, so we don't try to go for anything with that book. I thought we missed the pad, but it's briefcase. Just briefcase.
So both of these players have swept their first single pick after losing their double pick. So if they can continue that pattern, we'll be going to overtime. But it has to start here with Guggie, a single fingerprint and a single flirt.
And already I'm a little bit dubious about this pacing. There is the old adage that you can win veranda just by camping time ad. And at this point, looks like that might be a way to go for Yetter. Guggie going window to window to window, but no time ad as of yet.
I feel like it's almost a trope that casters are always worried about pacing. I think the reason for that is because when there's very little action, there's very little to talk about except for pacing. But
apart from sick bugs from conversation to bookcase.
Exactly. And I think that is going to help a lot with any concerns that people might have about the pacing.
There's always just that nagging worry that on a big venue like this, it can be very easy for... The less time you have, the more that the RNG aspects of the game can start affecting you adversely.
I feel like Guggie has bugged basically just all the time. Like, pretty much all of these games, Guggie has bugged. And it's just such a good mission to do. But on Veranda, it's not enough. Like, you still need to do another hardtail. Or you need to fingerprint, which is what we did.
I think there's a decent chance that we might be tracked for fingerprint. And like you said, bug being passed clean might not be enough, because in some ways the sniper just has to play 4 of 8 veranda now, and that's still entirely doable to snipe.
We're still trying to get another flirt on our ST. We will just manage it. I think our plan is to hard transfer this book and have bug, fingerprint, and transfer done, and then just finish off with flirt and contact. I like this game plan from Guggie. I don't know that that book was seen, but in particular, if that book was seen, then the sniper knows we have prints done, which makes it really hard to finish anyways. So if the book was seen, you're probably not going to win anyways. If the book wasn't seen, you're going to get transfer done with no problem. So I like this idea of chaining together correlated missions where, okay, if this doesn't work, I probably wasn't going to win anyways. We're in conversation with the double agent. We have a chance to pull the contact. We really should do it. It's pretty decent contact, and we just need the contact anyways. Doesn't really matter. Our ST will join us. We'll do the flirt first, and then the contact. And this is looking really good for Guggie, I think.
I think we were the only conversation with Real, though. And if Yetter tracks that, I think since we finished fingerprints when we took that book, we might have a lot more suspicion. On the other hand, Yetter's now rotated on the other side of the venue, and he's looking like he's in a good place.
This is it. I mean, we just put this book back. Yetter showing no interest in us whatsoever, and Guggie is going to get away with a spy win on Veranda in week 1 of SMC. We're going to abort a time ad just for fun as Guggie goes back into the lead 7-6.
Yeah, that was a nicely played game.
That was just, I think you're right, a really nicely played game. And again, Guggie using that bug. Lots of these bug spots that, like, we're not even looking for them. Guggie still manages to find them.
Well, Yetter, on his pick, though, I mean, the last few games he has definitely picked up the pace, and maybe we can actually see one of those cheeses work out this time and not fall to a pad miss.
All right, Yetter needs to sweep the last 3 to win this match outright. Guggie on overtime point in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yetter not interested in visiting those statues immediately. Drink in hand meant no early swap. And so we're just going to try to chase down our ST, it looks like. She's going to walk right past us. Unfortunate, we can drown our sorrows in our drink.
walk past us in both directions before figuring out where she's going to go. And she's at statues, which I don't hate joining her at statues here, but Yetter obviously does. We're just in conversation.
3 minutes 30 on the clock. One thing, of course, that these matches will provide, in addition to lots of fantastic high-quality SpyParty play, is perhaps a little bit of intuition for people in further rounds how these players are likely to handle themselves. And I'm sure whoever comes out of this match ahead, Guggie, of course, with the advantage at this point, sniping Veranda for tie point, is going to be looking very, very carefully at what's happened.
It's looking like Yetter's play here is to just be so obviously doing nothing that we can get some hardtail showing in a spy shot, in a civ shot, but I'm slightly dubious. Here comes the obligatory time ad.
Yes, it does. That's a white test. Brings us to 3 minutes 30 as we go back to statues. And, okay, Guggie, not obviously having been informed of this. The trouble is, we still don't have any progress, and Veranda's not the kind of place where you're likely just to get a civ shot by idling, so the time ad not too dangerous in the sniper's eyes.
I'm interested that somehow there's only one highlight on this venue, and I think it's just a twin differentiation highlight. So Guggie's obviously not feeling under pressure.
We get a white flirt for 34%, and a real contact comes off.
Banana bread.
There it is.
Losing us one of our highlights. And no highlights for real this time. Maybe Guggie thinking better of his strategy since it didn't quite work out for him last time. I think having contact said is very good in our chances of getting someone else shot, but the party did narrow a lot from there. I think we saw a few speculative lowlights.
2 minutes 20, we have a chance to try to chase down our ST. We're going to have to be quick about it. But no, Yetter's going to walk right past. Not interested, joins this useless conversation instead. What could our plan here possibly be?
Seems like flirt.
Yeah, the ST came and joined us.
But even so...
Bug. No bug taken.
I think that bug would have been death, but I think a bug would help us a lot. If we can just manage to finish flirt and inspect swap. I'm not quite sure what else is our finish plan here.
Under 100 seconds, we will request a drink. There's a small chain, so an opportunity here to inject some chaos as we go a white purloin. And there's just not a lot to be watching.
That's not what we wanted.
Guggie sees the list.
I think the fade was missed, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, does Guggie have this chain? Or... Because if Guggie missed the chain, then it's just as the same as if we just had a white perlite. And, we're going to have to gulp here. That's
death.
I think if we'd managed to, sip a little bit more in conversation, try and finish flirt first, that might have helped. But going straight there and having to gulp, I think, was the last straw.
All right, well, that will bring us to to Terrace, which is our last venue of regulation. So we are 6-8. Yetter needs to sweep Guggie's pick of Terrace 3 of 7 in order to bring this to overtime. Guggie playing for a single game win to take the match and advance to Challengers Finals. Spying as Teal in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And it will be a quick flirt from Guggie.
Wouldn't you know it? Straight into ST.
I assume there's been a Guggie spy game where that hasn't happened, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
I think the only game where that didn't happen, we were doing some other kind of cheese to start off. In some ways, having gone to do partial inspects, I now want to do the thing where you pretend to be an AI going back and forth between statues. But I guess we will have to leave that kind of shenanigans for another day.
We get a second green flirt from across conversation, 76% now for Guggie. We're in never mind, we were in conversation with Double Agent. Double Agent might be switching CCs. Opportunity maybe to contact here could be very interesting. I think we should take this, and we will.
A little bit more rough with... Oh, that was... That white contact rapidly got a lot worse, but this lowlight of Sari wasn't taken, so not quite as bad as it could have been.
Just about
in some ways, when a contact is that bad, we can almost just highlight any talker because no one would take that as a green.
Everyone write this down. Scout lowlights the talker in that situation. So is Guggie going to take this bug? Because I hear Guggie sometimes takes bugs.
It's a tempting one, for sure. And I think we were just outside of standing bug range, which is why we had to do that shuffle.
There it is. There's the bug. And this time it is seen. Yitter's not going to let that by. And Yitter, of course, what else could it possibly be? Takes us to the final game. Game 16 in this match. Finally, the bugs come back to bite Guggie.
But can Yitter come back to take Guggie to overtime?
Gonna be tough for sure. Terrace 3 of 7, not the easiest place to force through a spy win, but we're gonna give it a try. Playing as Rocker. Last game of regulation. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Yitter uninterested in any kind of flirt to start with. Straight into bar. Slightly unfortunate that no one else in this party chose to go to bar. And we're cheesing.
Yes, we did. We did pick up the delegate this time. We have 2 statue visitors. I think you just wait for one of them to come into conversation next to you.
Now we're getting a bit more bar traffic. So if we wait for these people to get into conversation, delegate will be a lot more masked. I do wonder if Guggie might have caught it. We weren't quite pushed into bar enough, so we did stutter step when we cancelled it. And, you know, it takes one to know one, and Guggie might be on top of this.
Duke has gone statue to statue. Our ST has also gone statue to statue, but the same set of statues. And now has gone statue to statue to statue. So we have 2 statue finishers in this party already.
Now I'm slightly sad that we've sent this delegate, and there it goes, because both statue visitors are out for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, twins in. Now you contact. Oh, no. Well, we're not dead, and we've hit a green flag, so...
And there's a Civ shot!
I think... Yeah, misattributed the Purloin because she was another drink taker.
And that means we're going to overtime with an 8-8 scoreline. We're going to play another set of 2 singles. So the draft is completely reset. There's no bans, there's no restricts, there's no anything that mattered before now. Irrelevant. So at this point, we have an 8-8 scoreline, and it looks like it's going to be Courtyard and then Gallery as the overtime venues for round 1 of overtime. So we'll play 4 matches. If someone wins 3, then it will be... if someone wins 3, that'll be the end.
I would have been fascinated to see if they made use of being able to pick the opponent's ban. But both players here being, you know, respectful and kind to their opponents.
I also have like the vague sense that neither one of them really wanted to play Aquarium nor Balcony, and we're perfectly
That's entirely
happy.
reasonable.
All right, well, let's get into our overtime. We'll see how far we have to go. And it will be Guggie on the spy side, playing on Courtyard, as we move into overtime on our very first SMC cast. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. So we are Courtyard 4 of 7 this year. We were 3 of 7 last year, and no one liked that. So 4 of 7 it is, and Guggie not starting off with a flirt.
Nor a bug. This is... what? Okay. I think the important thing here at this point in the set is it probably will just come down to who has more endurance. This is a lot of SpyParty to be playing.
Okay, Guggie misses a pad.
It's fine. The sniper was on the other side of the venue. Everything is fine.
Everything is indeed fine. Statue inspects done. Swap pending, by the way.
Okay, that's a move, because are we just... either we've forgotten that it's 4 of 7, or we're intending not to do flirt.
Well, there's our first flirt, yeah. Swap's still pending. Now we've taken the purloin. It's a white purloin. Guggie, no,
What?
you can't do this. And Yitter takes the shot.
Okay, well, that was definitely aggressive from Guggie. That was making the sniper work for it, and Yitter did do the work.
I don't hate it. I mean, it's clearly just a contact into purloin, and you're hoping the sniper's looking to do something else. The problem is there was nothing else for the sniper to do because it was such a good contact. And so yeah, that's just going to be a sniper win for Yitter to open up overtime.
I think, as usual with Courtyard, had it been a green, we would have significantly increased our chances of winning there.
Yeah, and I'm a little confused on exactly what the sniper's rotation was like as we went into statues here. I didn't quite pick it up. Yeah, we were just nowhere there. I thought we were looking right at it. Obviously, we were not. We take the swap first, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think had we managed to get a first green flirt first, we could have taken the much safer way out of just finishing flirt here.
And the red.
And to be honest, even if that green purloin had happened and given time for the swap to take and just added an extra level of confusion to Yitter of, okay, well, swaps happened, but so has purloin now, and I'm not quite sure who could have done both of these things. We just got quite unlucky there with which things we got as green and which things we didn't.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I mean, overtime is partially just going to be about that endurance, right? Like, it's not just, can I play this long, but do I have enough spy strats to keep pulling out? You know, especially because Guggie has re-picked into Gallery. So we're going to be playing Gallery games 5 and 6 for the players in this match. And it's going to be a lot of work to try to figure out, okay, what do I do in my third Gallery spy game? You know, and you've already seen 5 other Gallery games so far. And that comes with experience, but also just comes with how inventive you can be.
Yeah, it's also interesting that Guggie is picked back into Gallery after he went down 3-1 on it. Obviously confident enough, or maybe just wants to be on a comfortable venue that he likes.
And, you know, thinking about how we got to overtime, you have the sense like, oh, it's high-level SpyParty. You go to overtime because snipers are always winning. But, like, looking at what actually happened in the match, you know, we had 2 sniper wins in the first 8 games. Then we had 4 swept venues in a row. So, you know, these players are having a lot of success on both sides of the laser, not just one.
Indeed. And it looks like we have our next game.
All right, let's get into our next game of Courtyard. Guggie on the sniper side. Yitter now playing as Smallman against Guggie on Courtyard in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yitter not going to go for that early bug, instead going to try to chase down her ST.
I have a feeling that picking Smallman here is more about evening out your spy picks rather than wanting to do anything Smallman based.
Mm-hmm.
Courtyard is definitely not the best, not the most ideal venue for Smallman shenanigans.
We do not end up getting that first flirt, ST not cooperating. We do have a couple of statue visitors. 2:45 on the clock. We're standing in a useless conversation as Smallman. But I would love to see a purloin here, actually, if we could find one.
Looks like Yitter is going towards both our seduction target and Toby.
We do get a 30%.
Is rough.
Yeah, white flirts from Yitter have been the story of the day. Also, Chain gets reset by Disney right before being offered to Irish. ST is picking up a briefcase. Ambassador is in conversation by himself. Here comes the offer to us. We've been in this conversation for a while. Double Agent joins. Safety off Flash onto Twin at statues. We just take an innocent drink. What is the plan here? If we swap for Twin, Twin dies, although there's no possible Yitter could know that. Reception target being very unhelpful at windows. Under 2 minutes to play. Statue goes back down. Ambassador goes into conversation away from us as Twin paths nearby but not in bug range. And Yitter just standing here, ice cold.
I think at this point, there's been enough activity in the party that any kind of contact might just get someone shot. Ideally, if we can get Twin in for that, but Twin resolutely not cooperating. Now in conversation, but not with a reveal.
We're going to trigger the banana bread anyways. We'll let off 2 highlights or so, depending when it happens. 3.
Banana bread.
One of them is statue visitor. Twin was talking, but at the end of a talk cycle. So that would have to have been a green BB at the end of a talk cycle. Very unusual thing to see from a spy. A minute on the clock. No one has been shot. We have no other progress. We could try to force that bug, but Yitter thinks better of it. And again, pacing. I mean, pacing here on Courtyard is not easy to force.
Especially when we can't even fit in conversation next to our seduction target. So another white test is only bringing us to 54, which is going to be rough to finish with 40 seconds on the clock, even with a green test.
30 seconds on the clock as we get offered a drink. We may feel obligated to do something here, and indeed we do. There's the green purloin. This is going to make it much harder, I think, for a Civ to get shot unless the right Civ takes it. We go into statues with a briefcase. We're making a lot of plays here. There's a fingerprint on this case. That's all well and good. List is gone. 10 seconds on the clock. We're not going to be able to get to mid-twin countdown here without a bug. Bug is taken. We move on. It wasn't being looked at. We were looking at the tray, and Twin dies.
Oh my god. Because I think we were headed for a timeout. You know, we had 1 second and we're only just walking into statues. There was no way we were going to get swapped done in time. But Twin gets shot in time.
Yeah, and Twin is shot almost exactly 8.5 seconds. Like pretty close to 8.5 seconds from the purloin. So I think that was Guggie counting the 10 seconds and shooting Twin. Just really unfortunate for Guggie that he didn't get any overtime.
And it's especially rough that Toby decided to come through past Twin on his way to the next conversation, and then Twin has a drink in hand. And if you're feeling rattled, that's an entirely reasonable shot to take.
Yeah, it's like there's really no reason to shoot Smallman there, I think is the big thing. And there's no reason to be looking for Smallman's bug here at the end, wherever this bug is, because Smallman's not finishing. So like this bug is irrelevant, as it turns out. Of course, it could have been relevant if we'd finished Flirt, but yeah, too much attention being paid to Twin.
So it's another split.
It's a sweep for Yitter, I think, right?
Oh, right, so it is.
So Yitter on match point going into gallery just has to win one of these 2 gallery games.
And as sniper, I think you have the slight edge here.
All right, well, Guggie on spy side playing for his life as Alice. Yitter looking to move to finals in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And I wonder whether we'll see either something very conservative or very out there from Guggie.
How's this as a way to learn? We're already sharing a statue pad with Duke. We'll pick up a white flirt from Guggie. These players have been playing for a long time now.
Yes, definitely taxing. And doesn't look like we've been punished at all for this very slightly cheesy flirt. We managed to get it done very quickly, so it seemed within normal ranges for an AI.
We'll head back in here to pick up a flirt. Another white test from Guggie, 63, so we'll need a green. We'll pick up a blue book out of bookcase. I want to see this book get transferred, I think.
And I think the decrease in green might well reflect tiredness levels on part of the spies, which is just going to make it even harder for them.
Standing in a useless conversation now, but close to the green bookcase. So definitely opportunities to try to go and transfer this at some point soon. 2:45 on the clock. We still have time. As the double agent heads into this conversation. And we leave. We're not interested in the contact. There are a lot of people out, it's fair.
Yeah, I think cooking this book longer, getting our flirt done while we do it, that's entirely sensible.
The question is, will we see a bug in this game?
And if not, how else are we planning to finish? Because if we don't get a bug, I imagine we probably want to do some Softail instead, and we would almost have to get started on those now.
2 minutes on the clock. Flirt on double agent in conversation. We can go ahead and take this contact now. It's still not great. Well, especially not when the double agent leaves.
I almost think that contactless would be a better way to go in this game. There's been so much activity. People haven't really been hanging around in conversations, but I don't know if we'll be able to make a mission construction out of that with the way we've burnt so much time cooking this book now. And now is a moment of, well, one of the moments of truth, as Guggie is being very respectful, doing a proper amount of recycles before we put it back in the wrong bookcase.
There it goes. No obvious reaction from Yitter. As we bump to the master, we take that bug! Oh, that bug has to be credited, but it was very well executed. There's absolutely nothing visible on that bug. Guggie plays it to perfection. Yitter has to have seen it, has to be crediting it, but crediting it is not the same as knowing for sure. 1 minute on the clock. All we need is a contact. We're in conversation with the double agent. We're just waiting to push this button. We want to wait as long as we possibly can. The double agent leaves, and Guggie is in shambles.
This is rough. Oh, this is...
The DA is still in conversation. But this is unhappy.
This is so bad.
After that bug credit. And it's such a well-executed bug. It's just well-executed. It's not enough at this level. Here comes a white contact. 20 seconds left. Will there be a shot? We go for a purloin? Excuse me?
The DA split. We had to go for a purloin because the DA split.
Oh no, and we're just dancing. We're just hiding. It's gonna work.
I don't think you even noticed.
Oh my.
Duh?
And Guggie is going to take the most improbable spy win of the set.
I mean, the timing on the banana bread being uttered.
0.1 seconds.
Banana bread.
And then the white purloin into dance, but I don't think Yitter was even looking for the dance. I don't think Yitter looked at the take at all.
I think this is a fantastic play from Guggie. It shows a lot of really, really good instincts. Like, well, this is the only way I can win. Gotta try. The white there is better, I think, than the green on the purloin.
Yeah, just having it done. I think if it had gone to a mission when pending, that would have been a lot harder to win. And this way, Yitter didn't know that he needed to take a shot, despite the dancing in the background.
All right, well, Yitter are going to be here playing as Orange Sari, and Guggie has to be feeling really good after that game. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. It's all going to come down to Yitter just needs one more game win to avoid another round of overtime.
Guggie's sniping, though, which is, a little bit more secure, can be reasonably hoping to snipe this and go into another batch of overtime.
We have a green purloin pending, and there's a chain.
I'm sorry, what?
We have a green purloin pending, and there's a chain.
Oh no.
Here it comes. You've been playing for an hour and a half, and now this happens in overtime. There's a very early green purloin, and the shot comes off. It's the wrong shot. Guggie concedes the game. Yitter splits Gallery, our first and only split single here in overtime. And Yitter, on an 11-9 result, is going to go ahead and advance to the Challengers Finals.
Wow. I think it's very well done for Yitter there, realizing that the sniper is tied here, challenging him so early in the game in this chaos, and that was good play from both players there.
That was a fantastic match. I could not be happier with how we're opening up SMC 2023. Huge congratulations to both players who played just an astounding, wonderful set for us.
Yes, so thank you to both players, and good luck to Yitter in next week's elimination match.
Yeah, and if you are watching here live, in an hour and a half, we're going to be back, same channel, same place, casting Adafeyesh versus Wrestler. That's the top match there in the bracket, so we will know which two players will be playing for elimination in this upcoming week. So Scout, thanks so much for casting with me and going through that marathon match.
It didn't feel like a marathon. It was certainly exciting. Thank you for having me.
All right, and with that, thanks everyone again so much for watching. This has been the SpyParty Masters Championship. You can read some about it, although most of it is very out of date, on SpyPartySMC.com. You can still join the predictions at SpyPartySMC.com/predict. Of course, the community did not get this one right, but I'm sure we'll do better next time. If you're watching this and have no clue what this game is, this is SpyParty. You can learn more about it at SpyParty.com. You can get it there or on Steam. And you can join the SpyParty Discord, where this event and many others are publicized at discord.gg/SpyParty. I have been Corvus Mallory. Thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see you back here in an hour and a half.